red of sage? Getting you out of here.
Why are you so handsome?
My dad was a weatherman.
Hey, whoa, she doesn't need saving in there.
Okay.
What are you doing in there?
So what was it about the Lost City that grabbed you guys and made you want to take this project on?
Oh, it just was so fun reading it. When we read this movie, it was October of 2020 in, the middle of some hard times of the pandemic and just some divisiveness in the country. And just reading it, it just felt like the escape that we wanted to go on, like the adventure that we wanted to take ourselves. We were very eager to throw our hats into the ring.
This movie taps into the films that were formative for us growing up, that are just in our DNA and we love so much. And so having an opportunity to operate in those genres and in the vein of these movies that we care so much about was a very exciting opportunity.
Can you give us some examples? What are the kind of films that you guys really loved when you were growing up?
I wore out the VHS tape of Raiders of the Lost Ark, watched it so many times. Romancing the Stone, of course. It's sort of that genre of these very fun popcorn films that would include Goonies and Back to the Future, and movies where you going to the theater to escape into another world and just have fun for a couple hours.
The film has been so well received, which must be really exciting for you guys. What was it like being back at South by Southwest with a film like this and the reception?
That was an amazing experience. I mean, our first movie that we made for $20,000, like the tiniest indie in the world, premiered at South by Southwest. And that was like our entrance into being filmmakers. So to go back to South by and play at the Paramount Theater for 1,300 people who were screaming and yelling at the screen and laughing, it was truly surreal and like something that is hard to articulate, but we were just incredibly grateful to be invited back and play with them.
What's one of the best reactions that you've received from someone about the film?
Oh, that's a great question.
What comes to my mind is a family who is grieving a loss in their life, not unlike the character Sandy plays, and said that this was the first time that they just let go and laughed in a year. And that was really meaningful because that was the goal of this movie, because on a global level, I think people have been going through a real struggle. This has been a difficult couple of years, and we wanted to create an opportunity that just gave people license to laugh and let go for a little bit.
And you guys have worked together on a few projects now. What are the benefits or maybe the challenges of working with your brother so closely?
It sort of feels like a cheat code or something. I feel for my other director friends who go it alone because, it's a crazy political, difficult, world to manage. There's just so many moving pieces and big personalities and so much money on the line. And to have someone that you trust so implicitly, not only creatively, but just as like a partner in life is an amazing blessing.
There's the two heads are better than one side of it, but then also just knowing that somebody's got your back all the time too. Whatever the challenge may be popping up, when you're traveling with somebody who can catch you if you stumble, or might be seeing something that you're not seeing, that's invaluable.
But we can never be in the same room at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't speak to each other though. Yeah. We developed our own brother language, and it really annoys people. It's a lot of hand signals and clicking sounds.
And one of us doesn't actually exist.
That's right. One of us is CG, and one of us is a very good CG artist. So
which one is which, or do we have to guess?
Aaron actually can do animation and visual effects, so I'm starting to wonder if I'm not real. I haven't had very many of my own thoughts or feelings in a long time, so maybe that's why. And maybe that's why he made me handsomer.
Nice. Yeah. It's so fun to see Daniel Radcliffe in a role like this, as well as this maniacal villain. What was it about him that convinced you he'd be right for the role?
We saw from the choices that Daniel had been making in the movies that he was doing and his show that he was very serious about exploring his limits and seeing what he was capable of, and also just wanted to be doing roles and stuff that pushed the boundary of audience expectations of him. So it wasn't until we had him on set and were working with him that we realized he's not only an incredible actor, but he's an incredible person.
I didn't like him.
Yeah. But Adam's not real.
But I'm not right.
So Sandra Bullock is obviously so great at physical comedy. How do you go about directing a legend like that, or do you just get out of the way?
I think it's, like many great actors that I've met, not that she isn't one of the most extraordinary, and like it's such a blessing to have been able to work with her, but actors want to be directed. And she loved the fact that we would direct her and work things out with her because, you're kind of like, she's an explorer in a scene. She's like trying to find little things and things that she can do to add those extra layers. And she wants that collaboration, that partnership, and that feedback. So it was an incredible relationship and process working with her because she brings so much to the table, but she's also pliable and wants to collaborate on that level.
Yeah, I think, too, a big part of our role as the director is to create a safe space for an actor to explore, to try ideas out. And part of what creates that safety is someone like Sandy can trust that we are thinking about how this fits in the big picture of not just this scene, but the scene that's going to come before it and that's going to come after it and the whole tone of the movie. And so she can safely explore, knowing that if something is going to start taking the movie in a wrong direction or wouldn't fit with what we're doing with another character, that we've got an eye on that.
One thing I have to ask is there's a scene where she's sort of strutting along the tarmac with the goons on either side of her. Was that an intentional miscongeniality reference? Because it looked so similar.
It was definitely like we knew that it looked similar. Like there's a lot of, throughout the movie, there are a lot of very like winky moments to famous films, because this movie in a lot of ways is a celebration of great popcorn fun movies. Like we want to be in that zone. We want to be that like cinematic escape that those movies were. So we definitely like knew we were doing some winking at the camera occasionally.
Every time that we did, wanted to find the way that, how is this different? How is this kind of a little bit of putting a twist on it or turning it on its head a little? That miscongeniality moment is such a moment of kind of like empowerment, and this is her coming out, looking incredible. And for this moment, we wanted to feel like, yeah, she looks incredible, but she does not belong here. This is not going to work. This is a big mistake. Putting her in a jungle in a sequin jumpsuit.
And one of the most iconic scenes, obviously, is Sandra being wheeled away in a wheelbarrow by Brad Pitt and Channing Tatum holding her foot, which was hilarious, while massive explosions go off. What are the logistics of pulling off a scene like that? Is it one and done, or did you get a few tries at it?
We got one try on it, and that was Brad Pitt's first day, too. And we had a very narrow window that we had to work with him. And on his first day, it's nearing the end of the day. The sun is going down. We've got one shot at it because while it's possible to reset the explosions in the vehicles, there's not time enough to do it before we lose the sun. And so we've got one shot at getting everybody in their places, in the right position for that stuff to explode, for the explosion to go off correctly, to time the little things of Brad's hair flip and all of those things. Those are the kinds of moments, too, where you really feel the benefit of having an incredible cast and an incredible crew to pull something off like that, because everybody, like Brad's unflinching as vehicles are actually exploding behind him. And Channing is totally his character and introduces this funny little prance that he came up with there in that moment. And Sandy's reaction couldn't be more perfect. Like they're such pros that you can pull off something that's that narrow of a opportunity.
And you've got The Lost City now, and you guys are working on Masters of the Universe with its huge IP. They're very different films. How are your careers changing, and is this where you envisioned them going?
That's a good question. It's very fascinating. I think that The Lost City and Masters do have like a little more connective tissue than maybe they would seem, because Masters of the Universe though it is like this big mythology and IP and like sci-fi world, it's very silly and funny too. So it's going to be like a super fun, funny ride, not too dissimilar from Lost City. I couldn't be more grateful for the way things are going. I hope that we get to do many different types of movies throughout our career, but these as the next couple feels very fun.
We feel equally comfortable in these great big giant tentpole zones that we love and we grew up with, but also like the small intimate things. And our hope would be that our career allows us to move between those two spaces of doing the very personal, smaller, more intimate kind of films, and then those big sprawling adventures that you go to see in the theater with your friends.
And where are you guys at with Masters of the Universe? Can you tell us anything?
We just had a production meeting before we got on this, so we are, you know, we're building and ramping up and getting ready to go soon.
Very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Can't wait to see it.
It's going to be great. Yeah, it's like with Lost City. We're balancing those tones. And looking for big explosive set pieces that are a lot of fun, but also the quirky, strange characters that are a part of that property that we don't want to lose. We want to hold on to and find those ways of bringing the weirdness and the strange color to it.
Well, I know everyone wants to know if She-Ra is going to be in it, and I know you won't reveal that, but I have to ask, is there going to be a CGI Adam in it?
A CGI Adam?
Yeah.
No.
Because you popped up in a little cameo in The Lost City, didn't you?
I'm going to become a real boy for the movie. This is how I finally come alive, is I have to come alive in the story of a movie. That's how I materialize, which is also, we're selling the rights to that movie idea as well.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for your time today, guys. I really appreciate it.
Me too. Thank you.